Very, very good. And we are recording. Okay,
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Hi, Shivani, how are you?
Hi, Cecilia. I'm good. How are you?
Very, very good. I'm so excited for this interview.
Me too.
Okay, we're going to start. The first question will be, what is your perspective on all of the street femicide and sexual harassments, and how did you acquire that perspective?
From my personal experience, I believe that like being a woman, I have faced so many this kind of situations a lot, especially in India. But when I came to Australia, that was my first thought that when I chose to come to Australia, that Australia was one of the safest country in the world. So what I thought that what I've been through in India, I think I won't feel that in Australia. I won't have to face it. So yeah, it was tough in India, especially when there are like not when I visited northern parts of India. Uh, if I can say Delhi, that's the capital of India. So that sexual harassment is so much there, and so yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, that's so interesting. So, like, you have experienced that compare and contrast from living in India as a woman and living in Australia as a woman, and you see a difference.
Yeah, so I had some friends from North India when I was working in India. So their story were like they couldn't go out after 9 p.m. Without uh, without any men with them. So they couldn't go out alone. But when I came to Australia, I could travel safely. I've done so many tours alone, and then I felt very safe and secure here. So yeah, I could see that difference here. But then about clothes, so when we were wearing shorts or skirts in India, we had those eyes looking at us. Same happened here also in Australia, not by Indian men. So what I thought that it changes, like maybe because it was India, but no, it didn't. So it happened also here in Australia. So I think the problem is not based on country, it's based on mentality
Exactly.
and how every man sees a woman. It's very different. I think it's based on so many factors. There are so many factors that can affect it.
That's
How
so
they have
true.
grown up, yeah,
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
Okay, that's so true. I agree totally with you. Okay, and after saying this, what aspects about your identity, about your cultural identity, can you relate to this issue?
Um, about my identity. So yeah, so as an Indian, we are always like as an Indian woman, we are always asked to cover our clothes. If you don't, then they they would call you as very modern and not in a good way, not in a good way, in a very negative way. They if you go to marry, they don't like those kind of mentalities. And some religions they don't allow to show your any skin. So that also because it's a as a woman, as a literate woman, I believe that and everyone should have that freedom, right? Freedom of choice, what they want to wear and everything. Yeah, I come from that background, even where a woman cannot go outside without her husband or father or her brother with them. Can't show their skin or anything. So, yeah, it's a big thing. And then they say that they are wearing those clothes, and that's the issue that they are facing those problems. But it's not based on them, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. Okay, thank you very much. Then, what do you think is the impact of the street femicides, the street insecurity for a woman, the sexual harassment? How is it impacted you, like your personal life specifically?
Yeah, so for me, in India, I wanted to always travel, go on solo travels, right? But I couldn't because my family, because of all these issues happening, the rape rate is so high in India. So many murders happen every day. So Indian streets weren't safe for women. So my parents, my family didn't allow me to go on solo trips in India. So I wanted to, and as a as a human being, you are allowed to, and you don't have to ask anyone. And it shouldn't be the case actually in the first place. But I couldn't. So even going to the clubs, so they were asking me to come back early at night, like night. I couldn't do parties late night with my friends. So that was another issue. Yeah, also I was living in the small city, so that was another concern. But still, my city was comparatively safer than other cities in India. So we always had police everywhere in my city, and it was safe. But still, they had concerns because of the cases happening in other parts of countries. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Okay.
I
And
couldn't do everything that I wanted to because of this.
exactly. And as you said earlier, like even though some place you are is safer, the men, like if there is
Yeah,
a misogynistic man, it will be like in Australia or in Mexico or in Timbuktu.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
it is not about the country. It is really about the culture and about a lack of real education, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
And
very
also,
much.
yeah, I sometimes I agreed with their perspective, like they stopped me going there. But even I agreed because when I went, even with them, I still felt unsafe because of some men there. So it doesn't make any sense. Like you can't say that. So even I agreed with them that I shouldn't go because it's not safe. I felt insecure when I went.
Exactly. Because those that like your parents to say to you like don't go, it's not because they like
Yeah,
are misogynistic. It's because they love you, you know, and they want you
yeah,
to be safe because they
exactly.
know how the situation is.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Then now what are the beliefs about this issue in your peer group, your family, or your community in general?
I think in my group, most of the women they are Indian, so everyone has have faced this, like in some early part of their lives, or even now. If you go in India, you if you travel by public transport, I think you face it daily on daily basis. So it's like everyday struggle for women. So in India, the city Mumbai, so they have women compartments specifically in trains because of all this incident they happened, and they felt like okay, we have to keep this compartment safe for especially for women, so that at least while traveling they feel safe. That
Okay,
was the main agenda for starting it. So they had to do it.
okay.
Yeah. So
Wow,
in my group, yeah, everybody have faced it so at some point in their life.
wow,
And
that's a lot. Like every friend
yeah,
in a friend group. But like the sad part is that many friend groups, many girlfriend groups, everyone has faced that. Like
yeah,
it like these statistics are like very scary, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And the main part was not everybody were wearing those kind of revealing clothes that people talk about, that if you wear such clothes then only this incidents could happen with you. No, because they were all from different religions, and some of them were from religion where you have to cover your skin, so you're wearing full clothes, still it happened with them. So it doesn't, it's not necessary that it happens only with those who wear revealing clothes or who does all of that.
Exactly. And the part of covering the skin is because like of a tradition, or it's because those people religion like says to do so.
Yeah, some people do it because of the religion, but some people do by their choice because they don't want those kind of incident happen with them. They just want to feel secure. Even I used to do it. I used to wear like a whole mask and used to cover my head when I used to go there
Yeah.
while traveling in Delhi. I did it
Wow. Okay.
just to be safe. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. And now, I continue with the last part of the question is, um, um, how do you think street femicides and sexual harassment are present in India? Like, where do you see it most? Like, it is a difference between some cities, or you said like no, everywhere, or how do you think in India that situation has materialized?
Um, More or less, it's everywhere, but what I have faced, it's more in northern regions, northern parts of India. I don't know if it's because of the literacy or something, because the literacy rate is higher in south. So I visited both north and south. I didn't face it in south that much, and people were so traditional and respecting, like even their language. But in India, in North India, it wasn't same. So I believe it's more in North India rather than South India, but I can't say it's not there in South India or in other parts. It's there. It's there. Even in my city, even they consider as second safest city of India, still it was there. Like I felt it. So
Wow.
you can't really say, yeah. Even also to add, my whole state was dry state, so there was no liquor and nothing in my city. So there were no pubs which were like late night pubs in my city. Nothing. Still, it happened. So you can't blame a one like anything, right?
You cannot blame
It's
alcohol, you cannot blame
no.
clothing,
Mhm.
like
Exactly.
it's education and it's culture. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. Wow. And why is it dry state?
So the guy who got freedom fight, Gandhiji, if you know Mahatma Gandhi. So he was
Mm-hmm.
from my state, and that's why to respect him. And he was against this alcohol and everything. So to
Mm.
respect him, our state, when the constitution happened, they decided that we'll keep the state as diet state.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a cool tradition to honor.
yeah, yeah.
But like whenever your parents or like your friends want to drink, what do they need to do?
So there are ports near our state. So those ports are ruled by central government, and in those ports you can get alcohol if you have
Okay.
permit.
Okay. Very cool.
So yeah, if you just have to drive there. They are like 300 kilometers from my city, so easy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but in nowadays, you can get it like they say people can get it illegal ways. Alcohol, it happens obviously because of black
People.
market.
Hmm.
Yeah, people, yes. So,
Wow.
but yeah.
Wow. And okay, I want to know, like, have you experienced like comments in, okay, I'm gonna rephrase. Like, you know that misogynism and like all this violence towards women, or maybe in my perspective, it's not only in the streets and it's not only in men. It's like in every comment we do, is in some religious practices. It's like in our clothing, it's in our memes. Like, I think even being a woman, because of all of the misogynistic things you have learned like in your childhood, you still like do like subconsciously comments like hateful for women, like without noticing. And so I think it's like a whole cultural matter. in a whole like educational and systemic matter, and that's why it is so difficult to eliminate, because it is not only in one place, like it is everywhere, you know.
Mhm.
So what my question is like, have you had like a confrontation with a friend or a family member or a teacher or whatever about this matter? Like you hear like a comment that maybe it was unintended, but you said like, okay, this is wrong. Have you like have these kind of confrontations?
Yeah, so it happened. There are multiple cases like this, but one I remember, it was in my college in bachelor's. So there were two girls. They passed this comment about other girl, what she was wearing, about what she was wearing, and it wasn't that revealing. It was just she had that kind of shape of body, and then they passed some comment, and found it inappropriate because she wasn't doing anything wrong, and she was just wearing what she wanted. So I mean, it came from girls. So that's why I felt very bad. And then I went to them, and then I told them that I think that's inappropriate because if being girls, if we say that, then we can't go to boys and then tell them, right, that what you are looking at and the way you are looking at is wrong. Because even if girls think that, then you have to support them, right? You have to be their
Exactly.
strength. You have to have their back. So
Exactly. And like as you say, it's very sad like to see that the girls like they have experienced that fear and they still encourage that violence, you know, like they still continue judging the other that like that is just expressing herself and putting whatever she wants because she has all of the
yeah,
right to do it.
exactly. Yeah, even when I was playing football in India, what happened? Like some players, women players, they had to wear a tights underneath their shorts so that their legs don't show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because they felt uncomfortable because of the men, how they're looking at them.
Of
So
course.
they used to wear it. But
Wow.
yeah, it's not comfortable when you are playing a game, right?
Yes,
You should wear appropriate clothes. But it happened.
it happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
also some of my friends, it happened with them that their parents didn't allow them to wear some type of clothes. And then when they grew up, they also adopted that kind of mentality. They stopped going against those kind of thing, and they started accepting their parents' views that yeah, that's inappropriate. Even though at some point they wanted to do it, but then they couldn't. So then they just started wearing those kind of clothes, and then when you grow up, then you become mother, and then you do same thing with your children. If you don't stop and think about it, that what is right and what is wrong, it just
Yes,
keeps going on in generations.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So we're going to continue with the second phase of the interview, that is the image part. So I'm going to show you three different images from three different uh, activism slash protests slash art in
Mhm.
countries. So we're gonna start with the first one. I'm gonna show you here because okay, let it like sync. Okay, as you can see clearly, right?
Yeah, I could see shoes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this is the first image. I'm gonna leave it there like for 10 more seconds for you to analyze. There are like red shoes all over, like there are red shoes.
Mm-hmm.
The piece is called Los Zapatos Rojos in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
and it is done by a Mexican artist and feminist activist that
Mm-hmm.
like gathered like thousands and thousands of women in the capital of Mexico, and every one of them like uh, brought a pair of heels, and then they like sprayed red paint all over those heels, and like those thousands and thousands of women put like their shoes all through the historical square, like through a big piece of floor, you know, that is like the center, historical center. And um it has like a deep meaning. It is to symbolize like each pair of heels to symbolize one woman that was lost, like with a feminicide, and that died because of misogyny and of her gender, and like it was her way to make people feel empathy, like for once, and to, because we always have the numbers, like the numbers are increasing, 12 women every day, but like people does not react, like people does not care. So she say, okay, every one of you bring a pair of heels, red, and each one of them is a woman that has been lost, like for people to see it like physically, you know. And it has been very controversial in Mexico, but also like very, I don't know, like helpful, like to visualize all of this grief, of this suffering, and all of this violence. Maybe to people that does not care, like dimension the magnitude of the problem. So I wanna ask you, like, how do you feel after seeing this piece? Like, what do you realize? Tell me about your opinions.
Yeah, I felt I felt bad for those women. They had to like they what they went through, but it's good initiative to visualize for country to have a like visualization that what is happening. But my main concern is what happened after it, after this moment happened. Did something change, or it just stayed same? It was just for one time and then nothing happened, nothing changed. Because if something changed, then it should happen everywhere in the world, like everyone should see it and then they should take actions.
That's very true.
Yeah,
Yes, because this is portraying the problem, but it's not solving it.
exactly. Yeah, it's good that you identified problem, but then did you take the next steps? What did you do? Did you create a committee to support this woman and to empower them? Did you do something? Because everybody says that, yeah, we have a problem, but nobody works on a solution. Nobody does anything for it.
Yeah,
So
no
that's
one.
the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Okay. So I'm gonna show you the second image. It is a cultural expression, a feminist kind of activism. Like let it. Okay, there it is. They
Okay.
are like a large group of women in the United
Mhm.
States called guerrilla girls.
Okay.
They their argument, it's like a performance like that lasts many times, like in their daily lives they do that. They put a gorilla mask on, literally all day every day, talking to everyone, with their boss, with their sister, with their daughter. They have that mask, and what they like argue and what they want to express is that, okay, you don't respect us as we, like, you don't respect me as a woman, and you think that because I am a woman I am weaker, I am inferior, and I need to accept your violence. So I'm like, they say, okay, so we want to show you like our power and our like strength and our like community that support us. So all of like that group of feminist women puts on a mask and say, okay, like gorillas are so respected. Like you will never touch or be near or like be violent to a gorilla. Like you would lose totally. So it's like a metaphor. Like if you don't respect me as I am, respect me as like with this mask. Like this is me fighting back. Like this is my strength, and this is what I can like change. Like it's like a revolutionary like vibe.
Mhm.
And it also is very controversial. Many people say like, oh, what is that? Or people are like, okay, like it's I don't know, many things.
Mhm.
And I wanna like ask you like, what do you think?
Oh, that's good. It's good to be a rebellion. Yeah, because yeah, at least wearing those masks, they are showing that they are gathering, they're coming together, and then they are speaking. So against what is happening with them. So that's good. But um, I don't believe that. Like I don't feel good that you have to wear a mask to show that you have to use gorilla strength to show that you are empowered. Other than like you can just obviously, yeah, you can go and speak, but you think that other person thinks, look at you when he looks at you, and as a woman he feels that you are weaker, but it shouldn't be the case, right? So
Yeah.
you can't change their mentality even wearing gorilla mask that women are strong. You are just pretending someone to be someone else to show that you are strong. So it's not ultimate solution. It's just that you are just finding a way through that. Yeah, it's it's good that at least you are standing against it. You are saying that what is wrong, but on the other side, you have to, if you want to change the whole perspective, if you want permanent solution, then I think this way is not correct. It's a
Okay.
long battle. Yeah. So you have to fight being a woman. That's what I believe.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they use this strength, but it's actually just a mask. And it's very sad that they need to wear a gorilla mask for a man to notice and respect them, like
Yeah. Yeah.
quote unquote. Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to show you act like I think it was a feminist like protest and
Mhm.
gathering in India.
Mhm.
And it is an image that like catch my attention because every one of them had like a baseball bat, and they were all dressed in pink. And like the image of it, it's I don't know, very I don't know, powerful to my eye. Like visually, it is
Yeah.
uh
You could see that on their face, right?
yeah, like the anger.
Anger.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have seen this image before, or if you knew about this like protest in India.
No. No.
Okay,
When did it happen?
I think in 2018 or 19, like
Okay.
before epidemic.
Oh, okay. I was here, so that's why maybe I don't know.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanna know like how do you feel about protests? Like, do you think they're the solution, or like in what do you think they would help or they would not help? Tell me.
Um, Protests are good to um to gather attention from people and around the country or news channel, that to at least point out that there is this problem which is happening. So they're good because you are just saying that wrong something wrong is happening. That's why we are protesting, because not, we have not been treated correctly. So yeah, it should happen because you can't just keep quiet and just go through that, right? You have to stand for yourself. So it's good to do protest. Yeah, the way of their protest was also good. It was non-violent, so that's good. They were just standing for themselves. So it was good and it should happen. But then also, what should happen that if it's happening, what are the same? What are the impacts of it? Did something change? Did they win? Did they get something out of it? So, or else it was just one day event and then nothing happened. Also, yeah, I think, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we have seen that these kinds of expression, like they're used to express exactly like the message very clearly and like in very
mm,
creative ways. But my question is like, because this is a controversial question, many women especially have these different approaches. What I want to know, how do you think this problem about not being safe in the streets, the harassment, the abuse, how do you think it can be solved? Like, where do you think it is like the origin for us to eradicate it, or it has many origins, or what do you think?
but I have thought that, it happens from your home. It happens when, you know, so I have a little brother. When he was born, when he was 2 or 3 years old, you have to you have to train him at least from that age to the way they look at women, the way they look at their sisters and other women. You can't change men's perspective. Like, if he is like 45 or 50 or 25, it should happen from home. Because yeah, I think it should be a part of child's upbringing. That's what I believe. You can't just go and change society like as a group, because it's difficult and there will be so much resistance. We know even to change a little thing, there's a lot of resistance. If you work in company or if you are in university, if you want to change a little thing, then also there is a bit resistance, because all of their mentality and all of their beliefs they have built from so many years. So it takes so much time. But when a child is growing, if you teach them at that time, they will understand and they will have those kind of values from the beginning. So yeah, teaching, uh, the guidance, the training should be from uh, the first
From home.
family should teach them. Yeah, from home. Yes, that's what I think.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Wow. But wow. Yeah, that's true. Like it's from
yeah,
home. Even though in schools you put programs
yeah,
and like the police is strict or whatever, like
exactly.
if they grew up, uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you tell a guy not to harass a woman, he will, because that's the human nature. Okay, she's telling me not to do something, I'm gonna do it. It's like that. But
Exactly.
if your brother, like if a guy is small, like he's 4 years old, and if you tell him, like, if you harass that girl, somebody will harass your sister in the same way. So that little guy will have that, okay, that's wrong, she will cry, right? So they understand and they grow up with that mentality. So if that guy goes to school, then he knows that because of the whole understanding that a parent can give them if they do. Otherwise, in school, if you tell someone not to do something, he'll do it, because that's the human nature. If you tell them not to do something, they'll do.
Yes, that's true. And like after all, like another step more insight is like, okay, it's not wrong to look. Like I can look at you, I can look at
Mm,
any person, but it's the way you look and what
yeah,
you think when you look and what you like expect to have in return when you look. Like
yeah,
that is the real problem. And as you said, like if a little kid is with his father or whatever it and he like sees that in his father, how can he not do that? Or like in his
mm,
brother or in his little friends. Like I think childhood, as you said, is like the base of a person's personality because is the time where you are like a sponge and everything you absorb, and you absorb the good and the bad.
Exactly.
And sadly, when you're a kid, like you don't know what is good or what is bad, so you just take it,
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but like how, like what I think every time is like, okay, it's in the family, but how can you make sure that every family does this parenting correctly, like in a non-misogynistic way? Like, how can you assure that? That's like what I cannot imagine.
Yeah, that's tough. Even I can't. I can't imagine personally. Yeah, it's a long way to go. And then, first you have to change those perspective parents if you want that in a child, right? So yeah, it's a long way, but as everyone says that you have to start from somewhere, right? So at least what we can do, we can make sure that when we grow up, when we have kids, we do that. And we can at least share that with our group, and then we can ask them to share with their group. That's how that chain goes. And then someday it will happen.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah, if you work in company, you can just share with your colleagues. You can create some events and then do that, parenting thing. A lot of companies, they have started it, like some events for that, awareness events, kind of. So, but yes, you have to start from somewhere. At least we can start with ourselves.
Yeah, totally. Like you
Yeah,
cannot ask for anything if you do not like are it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah,
that's very true. And as you
yeah,
said, like maybe you can't assure that all the world will do it correctly, but you can assure that you do it correctly, and share that with your peers. Like
exactly. Yeah,
with the example, like the example is the best teacher. So
exactly. Yeah.
okay.
And
Very,
everything
very
in
good.
the world, it happened because somebody cared about it, right? So you have to start from yourself. You have to, if you really care about it so much that you want to see a big impact, then you have to reach to right people who have big reach to lots of people, and then they can spread your message. So somebody has to care about it, then only it will happen, right? If
Yes,
you will just think that, oh, it's a big world, I care about it, but how will I spread that message? But if you really care enough, you can find your way to do it. That's what I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Shivani, thank you very much. Really, like, wow. Thank you very much for the interview and for giving me an hour of your time. Sorry, it was
No,
like
no, good.
we got inspired. And I don't know, thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. I today I learned very much. Like what you said at the end, like somebody has to care. And if someone cares, then he or she or they will find the way, because
Yeah,
we can do it.
yeah,
But it is patience overall, like patience
yep,
and constance. As you said, like maybe the march of the red hills or the gorilla, it's a cool starting point, but what are you gonna do next? Like you need to keep and keep and keep and keep fighting.
yeah.
Okay.
True.
Well, thank you
You know
very
about
much.
that girl, Greta,
Okay.
girl who speaks about global warming and everything. She was just a girl, right? But her voice reached to so many people. She's, I think, just 12. I don't know how old she is, but literally, she was just a little girl.
Yeah.
But it happened. So you never know. You just have to try, right?
Yeah. No. Wow. Very good. Thank you very much for this interview. Now I'm going to end up the recording. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay.